Welcome back to our channel for another explosive update from the boldest world of daytime drama. Today is a phenomenal day to dive deep into the scandalous secrets of Los Angeles. We have a jaw-dropping spoiler that will change everything. Buckle up, because the Forrester-Finnegan dynasty is about to shatter. The crashing waves of the Pacific Ocean mask the sound of a breaking heart. A fragile peace, built on the ashes of the Monaco disaster, is about to be violently incinerated in the cold moonlight. John Finn Finnegan, standing in the freezing shadows of his own sanctuary, is about to discover that the wife he crossed an ocean to save has committed the ultimate, unforgivable betrayal. The enemy isn't outside the gates anymore. The betrayal is sleeping in his bed. For weeks, the tension has been suffocating. We all watched in absolute horror as the romantic Monaco reunion devolved into a catastrophic nightmare. Steffy Forrester Finnegan, pushed to the absolute brink by the terrifying realization that Sheila had followed them across the Atlantic, unleashed a feral fury. She ripped her wedding ring from her finger, hurled it violently at Finn's chest, and fled the principality. The marriage was left bleeding out on the European sand. But Finn refused to let the love of his life walk away. He boarded a desperate, frantic flight back to Los Angeles, his mind racing with a singular, burning mission: to get to Steffy before it was too late. He knew the stakes. He knew that Steffy was vulnerable, heartbroken, and completely consumed by her paralyzing fear of Sheila. What Finn did not know, however, was that his frantic race against time was already a lost cause. The damage had already been done, and it was far more lethal than a simple marital separation. While Finn was 30,000 feet in the air, praying for a miracle, a much darker, far more dangerous alliance was being forged in the heart of Forrester Creations. Steffy, intoxicated by a toxic cocktail of grief, rage, and expensive liquor, stumbled into the CEO office. There, she found Carter Walton. Carter was a man entirely unmoored, his own soul shattered into a million jagged pieces after Daphne Rose Walton fled to Paris, leaving him devastated over an early menopause diagnosis that destroyed their dreams of a traditional family. Two broken hearts, two empty glasses, one incredibly dangerous, highly volatile room. The vibe between Steffy and Carter wasn't just a simple search for comfort. It was killer. It was lethal. Steffy cried out in absolute agony, declaring that all she wanted was to be free of the woman trying to destroy her family. And in that dark, desperate moment, boundaries were obliterated. The unthinkable happened. Steffy and Carter crossed a line that can never, ever be uncrossed. They slept together, but as we are about to find out, the physical act of betrayal was only the beginning of this apocalyptic nightmare. Fast forward to the present. Finn has finally made it home. Against all odds, he managed to break through Steffy's impenetrable walls. He begged. He pleaded. He poured his entire soul out on the floor of the Cliff House, promising that their family would survive this, promising that Sheila would never touch them again. And miraculously, Steffy seemed to soften. The ice melted. The furious, feral woman from the Monaco beach was replaced by a vulnerable wife seeking the safety of her husband's arms. They shared a deeply romantic, incredibly passionate evening. It was a reunion that felt like a hard-won victory. The candles flickered, the soft ocean breeze drifted through the open windows, and Finn finally exhaled. He believed, with every fiber of his being, that he had saved his marriage. He believed that the nightmare was finally over, that the ring was back where it belonged, and that their eternal loyalty was intact. But soap opera fans know better than anyone. The moment a character feels truly safe is the exact moment the writers drop the guillotine. The midnight hour strikes. The Cliff House is bathed in a haunting, silver moonlight. Finn, perhaps waking up to find the bed empty, or simply stepping out to take in the cool night air, wanders toward the balcony. He moves quietly, not wanting to disturb the fragile, beautiful peace they had just reclaimed. But as he approaches the glass doors, he hears a sound that freezes the blood in his veins. is Steffi's voice. She is not sleeping. She is on the phone, and her tone is frantic, hushed, and dripping with a desperate, terrifying panic. Finn stops dead in his tracks. He presses himself against the shadows, completely concealed by the darkness. He doesn't want to eavesdrop, but the sheer terror in his wife's voice paralyzes him. He listens, and what he hears next will permanently destroy the foundation of his entire existence. "Carter, you have to promise me," Steffi whispers fiercely into the receiver, her voice trembling with a frantic urgency. "You have to swear that no one will ever find out. What happened between us, the hookup in the office, it has to stay buried forever." The words hit Finn like a physical blow to the chest. A hookup? Carter? The air is instantly sucked from Finn's lungs. The world around him begins to spin violently. The woman he worships, the woman he just made love to, the woman he crossed an ocean to save, had slept with the Forrester COO while he was desperately trying to fly home to her. The absolute, staggering hypocrisy of it all crashes down on him. Steffi had thrown her wedding ring at him over a secret regarding his mother, yet she was harboring a massive, marriage-ending secret of her own. But the nightmare is not over. It is only just beginning, because Steffi is not done speaking, and the conversation is about to take a turn so dark, so incredibly sinister, that it will leave the entire bold and the beautiful fandom gasping for air. "I just found peace with Finn," Steffi pleads, her voice cracking with a sickening desperation. "We had a beautiful night. We reconnected. I cannot lose him now, Carter. I cannot let this mistake ruin the peace I just fought so hard to get back. You have to forget that night ever happened." Through the agonizing silence of the night, Finn can hear the faint, muffled sound of Carter's voice on the other end of the line. The speaker volume is just loud enough for the devastating truth to bleed into the open air. Carter is not just a willing participant in a cover-up. He is a man deeply wounded, a man who has been pushed to the absolute edge of his sanity. "It wasn't just a mistake, Steffi," Carter's voice replies, heavy with an agonizing, painful sorrow. "And it wasn't just sex. You know exactly what that night was. It was a pact." Finn's heart stops. "A pact? What kind of pact?" He leans closer, his knuckles turning white as he grips the edge of the doorframe, his entire body shaking with a violent, uncontrollable rage and terror. Carter's voice continues, cutting through the sound of the crashing waves like a serrated blade. "The connection we shared that night, it was born out of the darkness. We made a dark pact against Sheila. We swore we would do whatever it takes to eliminate her from this earth. You can't just sweep that under the rug and pretend you're playing happy family with Finn. We crossed a lethal line, Steffi. We made a blood oath. The revelation is apocalyptic." Finn stands completely frozen in the shadows, his mind violently fracturing into a million pieces. The reality of the situation is too horrific to comprehend. His wife didn't just cheat on him. She didn't just sleep with another man in a moment of drunken weakness. She conspired with Carter Walton to execute a lethal, calculated hit job against his biological mother. The physical affair was nothing compared to the psychological warfare she was currently waging. This is the very place they vowed eternal loyalty. The Cliff House, their sanctuary, the home where they promised to protect each other from the evils of the world. And yet, right here on this balcony, Steffi is negotiating the terms of a deadly conspiracy with her new lover. Finn realizes, with a sickening, gut-wrenching clarity, that his worshipped wife is a traitor. She is a conspirator. She is a woman capable of the darkest, most treacherous deceit imaginable. Every single kiss they shared earlier that evening was a lie. Every whisper of love was tainted with the lingering ghost of Carter Walton and the sinister, murderous plot they hatched in the CEO office. Finn had spent months agonizing over his own guilt, tearing himself apart for failing to protect Steffi from Sheila's shadow. And all the while, Steffi was plotting in the dark, using her body and her influence to recruit a hitman to solve her problems. Let us take a moment to truly analyze the sheer, unadulterated madness of Carter Walton's position in this twisted web. Carter has always been the moral compass of Forster Creations. He is the fixer, the legal eagle, the man who plays by the rules. But the universe has battered him relentlessly. The devastating exit of Daphne Rose Walton, the crushing realization that he will never have the family he so desperately craved, has fundamentally altered his DNA. He is no longer the safe, reliable COO. He is a man drowning in an ocean of grief, and Steffy threw him a lethal anchor. When he tells Steffy that their night was not just sex, he is speaking from a place of profound, dangerous obsession. He truly believes that by eliminating Sheila, he is serving a higher purpose. He is channeling all of his rage, all of his sorrow over losing Daphne, into a singular, violent crusade. And Steffy, in her drunken, terrified state, validated that crusade. She weaponized his grief. Finn, standing in the shadows, has to process all of this in real time. He knows Carter. He respects Carter. To hear that this man, this pillar of the community, has entered into a blood oath with his wife is a betrayal that transcends marital infidelity. It is a complete collapse of the moral order of his universe. Finn is a doctor who took an oath to do no harm. His wife and her lover have taken an oath to kill. The dichotomy is staggering. It is a Shakespearean tragedy unfolding on a Malibu balcony. And what of Steffy's staggering hypocrisy? This is the woman who has spent years lecturing Hope Logan about morals. This is the woman who has relentlessly attacked Brooke Logan for her scandalous affairs. Steffy has positioned herself as the absolute matriarchal authority of Forster Creations, demanding loyalty, demanding perfection, demanding that everyone bow to her decrees. Yet, here she is, begging a man she slept with to cover up their affair so she can maintain the illusion of the perfect wife. It is a level of manipulation that rivals the darkest schemes of Sheila herself. Finn is realizing that the woman he is protecting from the monster might actually be the monster herself. The tension is now at an absolute, explosive maximum. What does John Finnegan do next? Does he step out of the shadows and confront the treacherous liar standing on his balcony? Does he rip the phone from her hand and unleash the feral, unyielding rage that has been building inside him since Monaco? Or does he retreat into the darkness, armed with the most dangerous, lethal secret in Los Angeles history? If Finn exposes the affair, the entire Forster-Finnegan dynasty will detonate. Ridge Forster will be forced to choose between his golden daughter and his loyal COO. Carter Walton, already unmoored and dangerous after losing Daphne, will have absolutely nothing left to lose. A man with nothing to lose is a man capable of pulling the trigger. If Carter truly believes that eliminating Sheila is his dark destiny, Finn's exposure might just accelerate the hit. And what about Sheila? The nine-toed villain is currently lurking in the background, desperately trying to prove her redemption. If she catches wind that her own daughter-in-law is plotting her assassination with Carter Walton, the reformed villain act will vanish in a heartbeat. Sheila will go to war, and this time, she will have the ultimate justification. She won't be the aggressor. She will be the victim fighting for her life against a corrupt, murderous Forster regime. The fallout from this single balcony phone call will be catastrophic. Steffy has officially pulled the grenade pin, and she doesn't even realize that her husband is standing right in the blast radius. The hypocrisy is staggering. Steffy demanded absolute, unwavering honesty from Finn. She demanded that he cut all ties with his blood. And in return, she slept with another man and plotted a murder. Think about the psychological torture Finn is enduring in this exact moment. He looks at the back of Steffy's head as she continues to whisper frantically into the phone. He sees the moonlight catching her hair, the same hair he was just stroking minutes ago. The sheer whiplash of going from the highest romantic peak to the lowest, most devastating trench of betrayal is enough to break a man's sanity. Finn has always been the healer, the doctor, the man who saves lives. But how can he save a marriage that is fundamentally infected with this level of toxic, lethal deceit? He cannot unhear Carter's painful, agonizing voice. He cannot unhear the words "dark pact." The CEO office, a place of business and Forrester legacy, has been transformed into a clandestine war room where his wife traded her vows for a murderous alliance. This is the absolute climax of the summer. The writers have masterfully backed every single character into a corner. Katie Logan Spencer is currently tearing apart Melissa Dillon's past, completely unaware that the real explosion is happening right here at the Cliff House. Electra and RJ are parading their romance, completely oblivious to the fact that the Forrester leadership is about to implode in a scandal of epic proportions. Every single storyline is converging on this one singular truth. Steffy Forrester Finnegan is a hypocrite, a cheater, and a conspirator. As the phone call ends, Steffy lowers the device, letting out a long, shaky breath. She looks out over the dark, churning ocean, believing her secret is safe. She believes the peace is secured. She has absolutely no idea that the man standing just feet behind her in the pitch-black shadows is no longer the forgiving, loving husband she manipulated. He is a shattered, broken man. And a broken man is the most unpredictable force on Earth. The fuse is lit, the bomb is ticking, and the explosion will leave no survivors in its wake. The battle lines are no longer drawn between Forrester and Logan or Forrester and Spencer. The ultimate war is now Finnegan versus Forrester. Finn has the ammunition. The only question is when he decides to pull the trigger and blow Steffy's treacherous, murderous secret sky high. Will Finn expose Steffy's lethal betrayal, or will the Dark Pact claim a life first? Drop your wildest theories below, smash that subscribe button, and join the debate.